Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Minecraft Update podcast with me, FoxyNoTail, here joined today not just by Slack, who has finally returned, but Jessiie B as well. We've got three of us as per popular demand. Wow, we got a lot of feedback asking for Jessiie as well as Slack. This is good news that you're both here. What's going on, guys?
Jessiie, you want to go first?
Hi, I'm super excited. I just have to say, I'm super excited you're here, Slack. So happy you're back. And yeah, I've been okay today.
Yeah, things have been pretty good for me. I mean, aside from recovering from hospital visits and doctor's appointments and everything else, life is on the uptick, I would say. Life is on the uptick.
Well, that's good. You know, when you're at the bottom, Slack, you've only got up to go, haven't you? So, you know, that's really positive. I mean, that most people would they'd kill for that. I wish all of my life was just on an upward spike, and yours is right now. So,
I mean, when you got both feet in the grave, the only place to go is up. I'm just saying.
I'm sorry to make light of the situation, Slack. I know you take it well, but yeah, it was a pretty dire situation Slack was in. I'm not going to go into too much detail because it's not up to me. If Slack wants to, that's up to him. But yeah, it is amazing that he's back and recovered so quickly. So thank you very much for coming back, Slack. And thank you, Jessiie, for being here.
Good to be here.
Right. First things first, as usual, what have we been up to this week? Jessiie, you're first on the list. What have you been doing?
Well, as far as content goes, I kind of took the week off. I don't know what it was, but I just hit this wall, right? I was going so strong. I was feeling so positive about everything. And then just bam, anxiety. I couldn't get an episode done to save my life. I think I probably recorded 3, binned them all because I was just not happy. So I played some Sims 3, built a lot of houses. And then finally on Tuesday, I had a daytime stream. And I think that changed everything. Being able to interact with people who are, you know, actually awake and can respond and have like a good interaction just revitalized all of my energy, and it was so much fun. I was very glad I got to do one.
That's good. I mean, to be fair, you did say last week that you spent 10 hours a week mining because you can't sleep. So I'm not surprised you end up getting, well, burnt out or just tired out. So I'm glad you're feeling a bit more revitalized. That's good. Let's hope that carries on for you, bless you. What about you, Slack? What have you been up to this week?
Well, aside from recovering from the hospital visit, trying to figure out what I was doing in Minecraft, you know. Yeah. You all were saying, you know, it was up to me, and I have no discretion, or I don't care for people knowing. I caught COVID, and the long story short, you can edit this however you want to in this regard, or you can leave it whole. I'm not shy to say what genuinely happened. I caught COVID. I spent a week laying in bed. I developed pressure bed sores. They went into infection. My body went sepsis, and I ended up in the hospital over it. And I'm now recovering from that. Things are on the way up, as you were saying a while ago, but like I'm totally lost on content at the moment. I've completely run out. All the content that I had pre-logged for my neck surgery literally just got burned through over the last 3 weeks, because my episode that just went out the other day, I genuinely started recording that 3 weeks ago. I started recording that. I caught COVID, and every day I kept coming over here to the computer and I kept trying to work, and I couldn't stay here but for maybe 2 or 3 minutes at a time. And I would go back to bed. I was sick as a dog. So that episode went out, and I don't even remember recording it. I watched it last night for the first time. Watchful, my editor, went through it and scrubbed through it, and just watching through it myself was different because I don't remember recording any of that. None of it. Like, none of it, except the outro when I got home from the hospital, because I was like, Watchful, I don't know what I got episode-wise, you know, where I've been sick. I was like, here it is, and I broke character, and I just kind of talked to the people and just explained to them life events of what happened with me. So he put that out, and I've just been at a loss for content. So a couple days ago, Jen, she's been by my side through all this. We started a world. I just wanted to play Minecraft with her. I logged on to TB, and I was totally confused on what was going on. I had no clue what I was doing, no clue what I was working on, and I just needed a little bit of a refresher course. So this week in Minecraft for me, I started a new world with Jen. We're doing something different on it. It's a Sim 6 world. which is different.
Oh, so it's still on Bedrock?
Yes. I don't want to flip-flop between Java and Bedrock. I don't want to do it. It's with my addictive personality and my mindset, I just can't do it. So I'm staying on Bedrock. So I'm playing an additional world that's at Sim 6, but I finally, my brain's clicked enough. I've logged into TB enough. I actually started recording my next episode of TB yesterday too. So I've got that going. TB is getting back on the rise. My stream schedule is all over the place at the moment because 1 minute I feel like streaming and the next my body just with this recovering, I know sometimes I can go 2 hours. I know I can. And then sometimes I'm like, I might go 15 minutes and I'm just too weak, Yeah. So it's literally take it week by week, day by day and week by week. And my host schedule is going to adjust a little bit when it's all said and done. I don't know. There was something about this experience. I don't go to the hospital unless I think I'm dying. And the doctors literally told me if I'd waited a couple more days, I probably would have.
Oh, wow.
So it's been a real revelation, shocking thing for me. It's opened my eyes to a lot of things that just, I don't know how to put it. It's life-changing for me. It literally is. It's life-changing. Like when we started Truly Bedrock, that was life-changing for me. What happened for me was life-changing, and not in a bad way. It's made me recenter on some things and made me refocus on some things. So I'd say everything is getting on the up again. It is. It's just, I've got to rework my schedule. Like before all this, I was streaming every day, and it was just go. And now it's like, I can go, but I also know I need to take time for myself to recover every now and again.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's so important that you do that. And I know what you're like, and we've discussed it before, and you will take on as much as you can possibly do, and it'll work for you for a few weeks and you'll be killing it. And then you'll hit a wall, and we all do it. We take on more than we should because we think we can. And each time we do it, we forget how hard it was the time before. So perhaps this time it might be a lesson to all of us for you. Well, for your experience to maybe not, take on quite so much and to make sure that we're doing life as well as our job, if you like.
Exactly. I would agree with you. So what's been going on with you, Foxy?
Well, I don't know if you listened to last week's podcast or not, Slack, but it was pretty much the Pokemon podcast. I'm not going to talk about it too much today, but I would like to go back on what I said. Basically, I've been playing an awful lot of the new Pokemon Legends Arceus game. I've now completed it. I haven't completed the Pokedex. I couldn't be less interested in catching all the Pokemon and filling in the Pokedex. I know that's like the main goal of Pokemon, but that's not the bit I enjoy. As much as the story was awful in it, and it really was, the writing was terrible, I did enjoy completing the story, and I actually really enjoyed the game. I feel like I probably will go back to it and play more of it just for fun, because it is the sort of thing that you can just chill out on an evening, go throw a few Pokeballs around, have a few battles, and there's no complication to it, and it doesn't ask you for anything. And the other thing about it is it's ridiculously easy. Like, I never, throughout the whole thing, I took on loads of alpha Pokemon, I completed the final bosses, never once did I die in it, like all my Pokemon fainted. So there was a couple of boss battles I had to restart because my character died, because in this game you don't just battle Pokemon, but your character takes damage as well, because the baddie Pokemon, if you like, or the big bosses, they attack you rather than your Pokemon. A couple of times I didn't dodge quick enough and had to restart the battles, particularly on the final boss. But as a whole, it was quite easy, and I like that in a game. I like it when the game makes me feel like I'm good at something. It's really frustrating when you throw Pokeballs at things and they've hardly got any health and you don't get them, particularly after last week, after my revelation that you could actually catch the alpha Pokemon. I went on that was it. I spent 2 days just chasing alpha Pokemon. And sometimes they would catch. Sometimes you'd get them right down to the bottom of their health and they'd catch. But the problem, I think, with this game, as much as it is easy, is the battles don't last long enough. And I think that's a good thing because there's so many of them. You don't want every single time you're trying to catch a Pokemon to take forever. But the amount of damage you do and the amount of damage they do is ridiculous. So you'll go up against an alpha Pokemon or even just a Pokemon that's the same level to you. It'll do one move and that's one of your Pokemon gone. There's like all of their energy's gone and you're like, this was a really good Pokemon. You killed it in one go. So then you have a go and you're like, I don't want to kill you because I want to try and catch you, try and get your health down. And you do a move on it and it's like, no, that was critical. He's dead. You're like, oh, for goodness sake. And the alpha ones don't respawn for a while. Some of them respawn regularly, but there's one I needed and it was actually part of a really early side mission. And I found it and I was like, oh, I'm going to capture that. And it's a really low level, should have been an easy capture, but I killed it by mistake. And it never respawned throughout the whole rest of the game. It never came back again. So I don't know if it's a time of day thing or maybe there's seasons in the game and I hadn't noticed that and maybe it's a different thing like that. I don't know, but it's really, really weird. But anyway, totally enjoyed it. Totally would recommend it, even though there's loads of stuff wrong with it, but it's a thoroughly enjoyable way to waste loads of time. And time is something at the moment I have hardly any of because I don't know if I've mentioned it on the podcast previously, but for the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be backwards and forwards into the other end of the country to see family with my kids because my kids both live in slightly different areas, which means their half-term holidays don't overlap like most, your kids both on holiday at the same time. No, Oliver's got a week off, then Jack's got a week off, and they both want to go down and see our relatives in the south of the country, which is about a 7-hour drive away. So I've got to take Oliver next week, and then I've got to come back for the weekend, and then I've got to take Jack the week after. So I'm trying very hard to record as much as possible so that I've got videos while I'm away, but doing that just creates a new level of stress altogether. It's really hard. It makes you panic. It makes your videos come out all jittery. And so I'm creating videos that I really wanted to put a lot of effort into, and I'm trying to put effort into them, but I know I'm cutting corners and I know they're not going to perform well, which begs the question, well, why bother doing it? Because the whole reason of trying to cover that period is so your channel's consistent, you've got videos going out and the performance continues for that period. If you don't put the videos out, your performance is going to start dwindling and it's going to be hard when you come back trying to get back to the level you were at. But if you're going to be putting out content that's not going to be doing very well in that period, it's going to have the same effect. So I don't know. I managed to record nearly 2 videos just this morning. So I don't think that's a very good sign, but we'll see how they go. You never know. It might be all right. So I'm looking forward to getting back from there so I can crack on with actual reality and working properly and getting back into my routine as well. Because the other downside to that is I'm going to miss streaming. And I was really in the groove with streaming. Everything was going great. And now, I had a weekend away. That sort of took a hit for things. I missed a Monday YouTube live stream and then I missed another one. And now everything's out the window. So, yeah, feeling a little bit stressed about that, but trying very hard not to be because I don't want to get ill from stressing myself out. So, yeah.
I was going to say, I totally feel you there. When you have any kind of time off, trying to hit that go live button again, it's a lot harder. And I just want to say, as a fan of FoxyNoTail, I would rather have rushed FoxyNoTail content versus having no FoxyNoTail content.
Okay,
just going to put that out there.
Agreed.
Right.
You may get less views with a rushed video, but at least there will be a video to get views on.
That's very true. That is very true. Yeah. And it keeps things ticking along and it keeps people sort of on the boil, I guess. It's just not very good. It's not very good for new people to the channel. Somebody that's never seen your channel before clicks that and sees that, and that's their first impression, and they're going to go, well, this isn't very good, and I'll skip and go away. So it's a bit of a juggling match in that sort of thing, really. But yeah, it'll be fine. What could go wrong? Speaking of what could go wrong with our podcast? There's only one way to find out, and that's to check the incredible amount of feedback we got this week. We've actually got a whole bunch of feedback, not so many questions again, but we got plenty of news, so we're not gonna have a short podcast. Let's put it that way. So this is the first time we've all 3 of us done this. We normally take it in turns, so I guess we'd probably go alphabetically, which would be me, Jessiie, then Slack, unless we're going to use our real names, in which case it'll be Jessiie, Slack, and me.
Let's not get confused. Foxy, okay. Jessiie, me. Yeah, okay.
Right, okay.
Sounds good.
Redstone Dad says, I'm getting rid of McAfee today, or McAfee, or whatever you want to call it. Thank you very much. This is in response to last week when we were talking about how the paid for antiviruses hate my add-ons and hate my software, and it's because they're rubbish and they're based on what's it called? That word I used last time.
Didn't the guy that made McAfee end up in prison?
I've no idea, but McAfee is absolutely useless. Norton, all the big ones, they're awful. Get better ones, okay? Just get better ones. So well done, Redstone Dad.
Yes. Jared Marsh said, feels like the changes are to try to get people to upgrade to Java and money signs. So wait, are they saying it just feels like they're trying to make more money?
I think what they're saying here is the changes they're making to Bedrock, because we were very much focused on Bedrock making bad decisions and making the game harder last week. I think they're saying this is trying to push people to Java, which, well, I'll just say that I completely disagree with, but why don't you guys go first and then I'll fill in at the end.
I would totally disagree with that. Java is a one-time sale and that's it. If they're trying to push people to anything to make money, they're going to push them to Bedrock, where the only 100% reliable, you can guarantee every week update will be to the marketplace. So if they're going to push you to money, they're going to push you to Bedrock, not Java. I wasn't part of the podcast, but yeah, no, I disagree on that one. Jessiie, what are your thoughts?
I also agree, or I agree with you. I disagree with the comment, but I think I disagree for a different reason. I think probably the intention of this comment, or what I would take from it, is pushing content creators to Java, which I could see that logic, right? I could see pushing content creators to Java just so that they can keep making money off of Bedrock and not having people complain so much. I could see that logic if that's where they're going, but I still don't think that's the case. I think that Bedrock is always going to be their moneymaker. Java is there to satisfy the big content creators who just like what they like. They like being comfortable,
Oh man, I disagree with that statement as well, because, well, if that's the case, that might be right, Jessiie, but if that's the case, then that's really short-sighted view from Mojang, because obviously it's the content creators that are driving a huge amount of players to the game. And if the content creators are playing a different version to what the players are playing, then there's a disparity there, as we well know, and people complain. So that's going to cause more complaints to it. You would think that Mojang would be smart enough to say, let's get all of the content creators on Bedrock Edition so that we can, that's free sales, that's free advertising. And we know they like to advertise with the amount they push the marketplace and the pop-ups and everything else that you get at the moment. So I think, if they were going to try and push anybody there or content creators or otherwise for money basis or for the future of Minecraft, it's going to be towards Bedrock Edition. Speaking of, I forgot to write this in the news section. We're not in the news section yet, but we did get a little tip from a little birdie today saying that Minecraft Bedrock Edition has a bunch more developers working on it. And that's all we can say. There's not much else we can give you there. But basically, for Bedrock Edition, I feel like the future is bright, and I think that Microsoft/Mojang are doing everything they can to make that platform as good and as it can be. So I guess watch this space. Slack, what's Victim have to say?
Victim has to say, it saddens me that you didn't have that many emails, as that means mine have been getting through, or means mine haven't been getting through, or they're so rubbish you're ignoring them. I tell you now, Victim, when I was here, we got every one of your emails. So unless something's changed, it looks like we're still getting them.
Jessiie wouldn't let me read them, Slack. That's what it was. She said, these are rubbish, these emails. I'm not reading them. So I was like, oh, okay, Jessiie. Fair dues. Right, okay, well.
I feel attacked.
Victim, I'm so sorry that I've been through all of the emails. We read every single email and every single comment we get every week, unless it is something that's just not a comment or a question, if it's just not related, or maybe perhaps it's to do with a podcast that was 3 weeks ago. But that's maybe one or two questions that we've left out. So I'm concerned as well that you're not getting through to our email system. I did check the spam today. There's nothing in there. So maybe check the address again that you're sending the emails to, because that's concerning you're not getting them through. And if anyone else is sending emails and we're not reading them, and you have, you think they've sent them, then please let us know, because that's a little bit worrying.
Yeah, I promise I'm not keeping your questions in the bin. Contrary to popular belief over there, Slack. I appreciate you.
Throw that away. Don't need their question.
Wow.
Oh, goodness.
Jeez. Okay, right. Skipping a few comments that have just gone in the bin then. Back to Victim Vaughan says, when Slack returns, I hope Jenny will still come on the show often. If not, I will miss her. Well, there you go. That's probably why your comments end up in the bin.
First off, she's over here throwing away your stuff, and now you're calling her Jenny, and jeez. Good talk.
That might be a bit my fault that people have started calling you Jenny, Jessie. I'm sorry about that.
I think so. Someone came into my stream on Tuesday and was like, "Hi, Jenny, I've missed you." And I was like, goodness.
I'm sorry. Victim. It was an accident.
I absolutely plan on coming on anytime they'll have me, even if they do call me by the wrong name. It's fine.
I'll tell you what it is. It's because, my significant other's name's Jen, and he's thinking Jen, and Jessiie and Jen, and Jessiie B, and Jenny, and that's where it happens.
That's it. It's like, you've caught me out. Yeah. I'm just there thinking about your other half. That's
I was helping you there, Foxy, okay? Just let it go.
Yeah. That sounds like you're more land accusing me than helping me. Thank you very much. Jeez. I'll keep my mind to myself. Thank you very much. All right. Who's next? Jessie.
Athena V. Casper Sky likes your add-ons. I'm guessing Casper Sky is a creator, maybe?
No, that is an antivirus software. I've always called it Kaspersky. I don't know why, because it's quite clearly spelled Kaspersky. You've just read it, but I've always called it Kaspersky antivirus. So yeah, apparently we've got a winner.
Nice.
If you want antivirus that likes my add-ons, then get Kaspersky or Kaspersky or one of those. What's lost you got to say, Slack?
Another great podcast. Wishing Slack better and look forward to his return. Hi, I'm here. Just saying. Throwing out the potential lack of Jessie's appearance. See, I got your name right. Just saying.
Thank you.
So, hoping she sticks around for future podcasts. Finally, was a pleasant surprise to hear you are playing the new Pokemon game, even if you do hate it all the same. Keep up the great content. I'm guessing Foxy's the Pokemon hater over there from the way it's sounding today.
Well, I did actually. I had to listen back to the podcast to see if I actually sounded like I hated it, and I did say right at the end I hate it. But I also said I was addicted to it and I love it. It was very much a tongue-in-cheek I hate it because there was a lot wrong with it. But like I said today, I've got a lot more love for it than I did have. I didn't know why I liked it before, and now I do. So thank you, Loshi, for that. Jeez. Anyone else got anything to say on that one?
No, that's all you.
Okay, fair enough. Nathan Wickenden says, I'm sorry to hear about Mr. Lizard. The community here is giving him all the best wishes. This podcast is great to listen to when I'm coding. Can't wait for the next one.
Comments like that make me happy. I'm just saying. They make me smile.
Me too.
Yeah, you can't get enough comments like that. Yeah.
Good luck.
You're all wonderful. And I really like you. Thanks, mate.
Good luck, Jessie, with the next one.
I was just thinking that. Kane. Thanks for the podcast. Foxy and Jessie, very entertaining and informative. I'm also looking forward to Slack's return. You're all like family. I did want to comment on an alternative for gaining XP that I used before learning about the Genie Furnace option. When I needed XP for enchanting or to repair my tools and armor, I always used villager trades to accomplish this. I maintained a small pumpkin and melon farm and keep 4 master farmers to trade with. After infecting them and healing them, I could sell each melon and pumpkin for 1 emerald each, and also repair most of my tools and armor. Is there a downside to this? I understand excessive trades can cause lag, but I only maintain 12 traders at most, and it doesn't seem to affect the server. Edit. I did try repairing my armor as well as an axe that had roughly 1/3 durability left, and a shovel that had 1/2 durability. Feeding the farmers both pumpkins and melons for a day 2 times each day did repair my slightly damaged armor, plus my axe and mostly my shovel. It's not even close to the Cheaty Furnace. A decent guardian farm would be the clear winner in the future.
Well done, Jessie, for getting through that. Yeah, so that started off saying, hey, look, this is a really cool way to do XP. And then then there was an edit and they went, no, actually it's rubbish.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Kane. That's made me giggle. Yeah, villagers are a way of getting XP, and you can get a reasonable amount, but they're not reliable enough to get loads from, I don't think personally, unless you've got loads. And like you said, you had 12. A lot of people have like 30 to 40 villagers just to get enough blocks and XP, which when you've got a server that's maybe got 8 and 9 people on at the same time, all AFK at their bases waiting for their lava farms to fill up, that's a lot of entities being loaded. So, yeah.
Lava farm. There's this thing called the Nether. I'm just saying, it's been around for years. That's pretty much all you can need.
You know what, guys? You can poo-poo on the lava farm all you want, but people like me who absolutely hate the Nether, this is brilliant. I love the fillable lava because I hate the Nether. However, I have to agree with you. The amount of time it takes to fill up enough to make that lava worth it is ridiculous. But you will not catch me going to the middle of the Nether trying to catch up lava buckets and getting blown up by gas every 2 seconds. Not a fan.
I can't see the value. I can't see the value. Even in the overworld, okay? The season before last, the Mushroom Island, I literally just drained all the lava underneath of it. Because I can just do it at once, you know?
Yeah.
But with that, you're specifically, okay, I need to click specifically here with this bucket, specifically here, specifically here, specifically here. I can go down with a stack of buckets and just hold right click and it's just like, I don't get it. Anyways.
Yeah, I went through a process on a couple of videos at looking at the pros and cons, and I can see there are some pros for certain people. And especially with the cheaty furnaces, if you're only running one furnace, then yes, you can AFK while that furnace is cooking whatever it is to get the XP up while your lava's cooking. I get that. But this is, we touched on this. Groover mentioned it in the Discord the other day, and we touched on this in the last podcast as well, about changes Mojang are making that seem to make the game more laggy, if you like. So obviously they're taking away the XP furnace, which is it's a glitch, so fair enough. But the alternative to that is some sort of farm that creates a lot of lag. Now the lava farm, on a serious note, is encouraging people to be AFK at their base. And where do you have all of your laggy stuff? It's at your base, or your storage system at your base. Your melon and pumpkin farm, which we just discovered, at your base. Your traders at your base. Everything goes on there. So while you're stood around even longer waiting for lava to tick through, it's just adding more reason for people to be AFK. And I don't think that's a good direction for the game to go in, personally. I think they should be trying to encourage things that can happen quickly and be done quickly, like you can do with, certain farms. You can run them for a few minutes and get more than you could ever need in your life. And they're going, well, no, actually, let's put powdered snow in here and slow it down. And let's do this to slow it down, because there should be a balance. Balance is fine if everybody's got the fastest computers in the world and the best servers in the world. But in reality, when everybody's playing this on mobile devices and, VPS servers, because that's what they can afford, they gotta develop the game for the players, not the best, systems, if that makes sense.
Oh, totally agree. Totally agree on that.
I think you guys are definitely the more technical people, right? So when I have opinions on that, I tend to look at your guys' opinions. I tend to listen to what somebody it affects more or who has more knowledge has to say. For me, things can be inconvenient. And that's something that I would might take personal. But when I listen and actually hear what you're saying, it all just makes sense. So I don't have anything relevant to add or a perspective that's different. I'm all like, yeah, no, absolutely. All of that just logicked me.
Fair enough. I mean, that is obviously my opinion, and no, not everybody has to share that opinion, but I would consider my opinion to be relatively valid, considering the time and effort that we put into Minecraft over the years. But I only play from my perspective. I don't play from every player's perspective. So all the players that do, are casual players or maybe a bit younger or just prefer to play in a whole different play style, they're going to have a different perspective. So you don't have to agree with me on that. But if you do, then great. Right, Slack, what's Jill got to say?
Jill says, it's not a question, but an observation. I started with Hermitcraft and was so frustrated that the things they did, I couldn't. as I play on the iPad. Tried to find people with the same level of enthusiasm and storytelling talent and found truly Bedrock. You guys rock.
Aw.
We do rock. Just saying.
Nice.
We do.
Just saying.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep.
Big-headed Jessiie there. We do. I think we do as well. I absolutely think we rock. That's really nice. And that goes back to what we said earlier about, pushing people to Java. There you go. Prime example. Java's no good if you don't play on it.
Yeah, and if you're watching Java and you see Mumbo build this beautiful, amazing farm, and then you try to build it and you're like, why doesn't it work? And then 3 days later and pulling your hair out, you learn that you're on a different version of the game that you didn't even know exists. So now you got to search and find new people to do the type of content for the version of the game that you play. Just saying.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, it reminds me of right back in the early days of Minecraft, when I first started getting into it and I started looking on YouTube for tutorials for things. I was fascinated by rails and what you could do with minecarts, and you could do a lot more with them back then, believe it or not. And I was also fascinated by, at the time on certain versions, you could actually push two pistons together onto a block and it would break the block. So you could have these massive like stone generators that would auto harvest. It was fantastic. But the problem was, all of the tutorials were for the alpha versions of Minecraft and everything had changed from the version I was on. So whereas now changes don't happen so quickly because development's a little bit more delayed, so you expect at least mechanics between versions to be similar, there's still that massive disparity now between obviously Java and Bedrock. And that does lead to frustration. And unless you're really into something, when you get frustrated about it, a lot of people just go, I can't be bothered with that. I'll move away from it. So I wonder how many people Minecraft has lost just because they've gone, I can't be bothered. That's too, I tried it didn't work. Oh, what? There's a different version. Oh, forget it. Do you know what? Can't be doing with that.
I totally agree. One of my first experiences with Bedrock Edition, I built El Mango's Guardian Farm.
Jeez.
And then I discovered this guy named FoxyNoTail who was doing portals and guardians, and because it didn't work the same and you didn't have to drain the monument. You know how annoying that was?
I had so many comments on my Guardian Farm videos going, I literally just drained the ocean monument. And I'm like, oh, you don't need to do that. Don't worry about it. So, yeah, that makes me laugh. Sorry, Slack.
Good talk. Good talk, Foxy.
Yeah. I think that's one of those things that the feedback that really hits me close is when saying, oh, I was so engrossed in like another SMP or another side of Minecraft, and then finding us helped. Like that to me just makes me so happy. Not that I am one of those people that I think that is aimed at, but just in general that it's there. Because I remember, just like Slack, looking for farms because I'm not a farmer. I'm not somebody who does redstone. So I heavily relied on YouTube videos to try to automate anything because it just went straight over my head. And having to look through 30, 40 videos before I found a single Bedrock creator was just a headache. And now there's this entire server full of people who not only play on Bedrock, but like Bedrock and like to keep it up to date, And so I very rarely have a problem with not finding a farm that is working for the current update because there are like 30 of you in TB who are like, oh, no, I got this. And I'm like, yay, somebody has my back. So I agree, Jill. I definitely like it.
And it's for builders as well. Like you were talking about redstone and farms, but I was just thinking then the few build tutorials I've seen don't normally specify what platform they're on. And I'm like, okay, put the flower pot on the trapdoor, yeah. And then, and this trapdoor connects to that wall there. Oh, and the fence connects to the...
Or you can't put the lantern on this, or you...
Yeah.
Fair. That is fair.
So, yeah, it's yeah, so I'm really glad we can help out there. And going back to what you just said there, Jessiie, about so many of us on Truly Bedrock that are keeping Bedrock up to date. I was searching for a couple of tutorials the other day, and it was so nice to see that the search results for Bedrock Edition farm tutorials are pretty much dominated for certain things by the Truly Bedrock peeps. So that's really nice to see. I'm very happy with our group. I think it's wonderful.
We are continuing to grow, and it's been a lot of fun.
Exactly. Now, who was it next?
You.
It's me. Okay. Teddy Legend says, love listening to the podcast. Thank you for putting in the time to make it. I completely agree that it feels like devs are trying to take away some of the freedom of play in the game for Bedrock users with all the changes they're making. I would love to see them give us an alternate way of doing things before removing or changing things. I agree with that, Teddy, but I would also say, playing devil's advocate here, that it's not really up to the devs to tell us how to play the game. I mean, that's the whole sort of freedom of expression and creativity thing, is that we're supposed to figure out exciting and interesting ways of doing things. It's just when you know there is very little chance of being able to do that with what they've left us with, that's when I guess it gets frustrating. So yeah, I do agree. It would be nice if they put more things in for us to be able to work with before taking things away. But I don't want them to be telling us how we should be playing it. That's the last thing I want them to be doing.
Agreed. I very much don't like the idea of them controlling the pushing this narrative of Minecraft is a one way to play sort of game, because that takes away everything that is special about Minecraft. To me, the heart of Minecraft is we have this set number of blocks, right? We have this set number of things that, sure, that pool is getting bigger, but there's still only this little pool that you have. And being able to see the differences of, Slack's farm to Silence farm to Foxy's farm to anyone's different thing. And there's subtle changes that one person has done that create the same result. That to me is amazing. It's same with building. I can have the same exact block palette as Loy, as Lee, as anyone else, and create something magical that is completely my own, that has nothing to do with anybody else, with the same exact blocks. And it feels like when somebody is saying, oh, no, this isn't how this is intended to go. Like, you're not supposed to be able to do that. It feels icky. And like, it just feels like, why are you trying to tell me what I'm supposed to do with this certain thing? And it just makes the game feel like, okay, are you treating me like, I don't know, like like a child? Like, why do you get to tell me how I'm supposed to enjoy this game? So to me, it bothers me at my core.
I agree. Slack, what do you think?
I'll just go to something I say on stream all the time. My name's SlackLizard. You can't tell me what I can and can't do.
But they can. I understand it. If you're a developer or something, you've created something, you've put all of this time and effort into these parameters, and then somebody goes, oh, look what I can do. And you're like, oh, no, I didn't mean to leave that in. Oh, I can't believe they figured out. Oh, geez. Yeah, quick fix that. Quick fix that. I don't want people doing that. And what the developers doing at that point is they're trying to, enforce the parameters that were supposed to be there in the first place to make this
damage control.
Yeah. And to make it balanced in the way that they've put all that time and effort in to do. But what they're failing to do while they're panicking to fix that problem that they've seen is going, how much enjoyment that person's getting out of doing that thing they've figured out. Maybe not just from actually doing the thing that they've figured out, just from finding it and getting excited about sharing. Hey, look, guys, what I've found. That's such an amazing feeling when you're the first person to discover something in a game that's shared by millions of people. So, yeah, I understand why some things get taken out and why they try to steer the game in a certain direction and put borders up. It's just when you are running out of avenues to go down, they've blocked all the roads except one. You do kind of feel like you're playing a linear game rather than an open world one.
It could be a lot worse, though. Like, I'm just going to use 7 Days as an example here. The developers don't like the point that people like to build bases and defend their areas with. So, like, let's say that you had upgradable block and went from wood to stone to steel. Okay. In the past, it would go, if it got destroyed, it would go from steel to, concrete and then down the wood. They don't like people having bases. So now they're like, yeah, if that block gets destroyed, it's just completely gone, So at least we're not getting hard changes like that, in my opinion. And changes are kind of to be expected. And I would argue I kind of like changes. When it stays the same all the time, you're eventually going to run out of ideals and different ways to do farms. But maybe I'm an oddball.
No, I agree with you. I think that's pretty much why I've always said I like Bedrock more than Java. It's because it's different and it makes you think differently. And if it stayed the same forever, you'd run out of it being different. So the fact that they do change things is great. And I hope they do keep changing things and tweaking things and giving us new things and swapping how things work so that we can develop. And I can make a new Guardian farm and I can make a new whatever else farm that I want to make because it's updated. That gives me not just pleasure in figuring it out, but also, pleasure in putting out new videos for people as well. So, yeah, I do agree with you there completely.
Okay. Is that Loshi or Loshi? I guess it would be Loshi.
I would go Loshi.
I read it like Yoshi, but with an L.
I totally read it like Yoshi.
Yeah. See, I call it Yoshi. You call it Yoshi.
Oh, that would be why. So either Loshi or Loshi, whichever it is. Hi.
Hello. Hi, this is Jessiie.
Yeah, right. Hey, great podcast again this week. Wishing Slack well and looking forward to his return. Though be sure to keep Jessiie B on for future episodes. As I'm sure most would agree, we would rather her stay. This series is the first ever podcast I've listened to, and it opened my eyes to a new world of entertainment while grinding away in Minecraft. So thanks for that. Finally, from a longtime Pokemon fan.
Hang on a minute. Haven't we already read this one?
No.
We did. Loshi was also in the comments saying, finally was a pleasant surprise to hear you're playing a new Pokemon game, even if you hate it at the same time, keep up the great content. And that's literally the end of this one as well. So.
Okay. Yeah. So from that point, yeah.
Sorry, Loshi, but I'm getting deja vu here, and I just scrolled up and I see the exact same line. So yeah, you've got an email and a comment from them, and although the main chunk of it's different, the end.
Well, maybe victims should pay attention there. Email and a comment.
Oh my goodness. Well, yeah. Okay, from that point on, it's the same. So what I will say is, I'm glad that the podcast is something that you're enjoying, especially if it's something you've not given a chance before. Like being this as the first podcast, that's kind of cool. Like that's neat that you've entered a new realm of viewership. So I think that's cool. Thanks for the time.
It's weird, isn't it, podcasts? Because I mean, they're kind of this little thing they don't feel like they're around like everything else is. YouTube's in your face, Discord's in your face, Twitter's in your face, but the podcast seems to they're just over at the side really, and you need to go and find them rather than them. The people hardly ever talk about them, and you don't hear. Well, maybe it's just my little circles that I'm in, but I hardly ever hear about them. But when you actually go looking, there's so many, and a lot of them are so popular, and they're world known, and there's millions of people listen to them, and it's amazing. So yeah, it's a wonderful. If you've not ever experienced podcasts before, which clearly you have because you're listening to this, unless you're watching it on YouTube, I guess, then yeah, definitely get yourself a podcast app and find some stuff you're interested in and see who's out there to listen to.
I would agree. Hello, Foxy, Slack, and Jessiie. I've been wanting to write to you about this for a few weeks now. As a father of 3 and a Minecraft family ourselves, I don't have a whole lot of time to spend repairing my tools each time they need repairing. Even at the full Guardian farm I built for the purpose before we had the cheaty furnaces. Do you think it would be possible for us as a community to complain enough to Mojang that they would either leave it alone, like the Java technical community did with bud powering, or give us an equivalent solution? I'd like to suggest a reverse grindstone, an enchant or repair block. It could be crafted, used as a hopper and a grindstone and whatever else, and then placed under a furnace. It would take the item from the furnace, delete it, but deleting it? Huh? What? We'll take the item from the furnace, deleting it, but storing the XP. I don't know about the deleting it part there, but anyways, when you put a tool or armor into that block, it would just get enough XP stored to repair the item. Seems like a fair exchange to me. Interesting concept there. P.S. As a longtime member of the Spawn Chunk podcast community, it's nice to have a Bedrock focused discussion alongside them that truly know our pain for the love of this version. Keep up all the great work, Whitebush.
Okay.
Foxy, you can go first.
Okay, fair enough. So there's a few things obviously we touched on there. There was the, are they going to give us a replacement and can we complain about the cheaty furnaces? We've got the reverse grindstone, which I got a little bit lost with there, but I think I understand. And obviously a big shout out to the Spawn Chunk. So that's amazing. First of all, I would say in terms of us complaining and getting what we want with the cheaty furnace, probably not, but we did do a lot of complaining and on Twitter recently, and the developers got back to us and says they are strongly considering XP farms for Bedrock Edition. So watch this space on that. The other thing we did get the other day from complaining on Twitter was that in the latest beta, this will be in the news as well, they have reverted the changes to the pathfinding blocks with, what was it called? Dead Coral fans. So we got our own way there, a little bit like the Bud Powering. It's not to say that that's going to be there permanently, but yet again, they said on Twitter they are exploring different options. So they're listening. So that's a good start. That's a really good start. So yes, I think it is a good idea to complain in a constructive and clear way, in a way to make conversation with the developers, rather than just complaining and saying, hey, this doesn't work, fix it, or I don't like it. If you approach it in a reasonable manner and approach it as a conversation and say, hey, look, this is the reasons why I don't think you should be doing that, rather than just complaining, then we're more likely to get a result. And in this particular situation, we did. So that's absolutely fantastic. In terms of a reverse grindstone, I mean, the whole point of a grindstone is you put something that's enchanted in it and it will give you XP back. So what you're saying is you put in something in that's not enchanted, like a piece of armor or a weapon, and it takes that weapon and armor away, but stores some XP inside this new grindstone that you can take out at a later date, which is... it's basically a furnace. So that's what furnaces do. You put the armor in, or it has to be iron or gold, but then it will delete the item and give you like shiny nugget for it, but it will store the XP of that. So we kind of have got that, but you'd have to have absolutely tons of old armor and stuff lying around in order to make it even slightly worthwhile. I do like the idea that we've got storable XP, and I know the Skulk block is going to do that to an extent soon, but I'd like something that I can go, no, I want to put my XP in this and then get a little bit out at a time. I would just need 10 levels. So just, open the lever. That sounds good to me. Well, you never know what's coming with this Skulk stuff and where the future lies with that. But yeah, I think something else definitely could or should be done. I
agree. I'm trying to think how to word this. Like when you were talking about having something that would store XP, it just reminds me of what Sky Factory. Do you remember when we were playing and they had like a little faucet?
Yeah.
And you could just like take out XP. I would love something like that. I know that that's too modded and it's not going to happen, but just the grind, the hunt, the need for XP on Bedrock is just, it's so not infuriating because it's not, but it's headache inducing. I cannot stand how just annoying it is to try to heal my armor or my tools without something like the cheaty furnace. And I get it. It's called a cheaty furnace for a reason because it wasn't intended, but it was so useful. And so I get it. I get trying to find a good medium and something like the idea of the grindstone on top of a furnace and trying to make, a jiggery pokery kind of contraption. I would love it. I would love if there was something we could do like that. And as far as complaining goes, I think the word complaining sets the wrong tone, right? Yes, I guess at one point Java complained enough that they got what they wanted. But I think looking at it more as constructive criticism, I think there's absolutely power in your words and your experience. And being able to write the devs, being able to write people and say, hey, look, I don't just want what I want because I want it. I want what I want because, X, Y, and Z. And I don't think that's complaining. I think that is criticism. I think that is feedback. I think that is, using your words. And I am a very, very big fan of that. So I think maybe don't look at it as complaining. Look at it as trying to better something, or look at it as just trying to give genuine feedback. moral of that story, I hate the word complaining when in terms of giving feedback to a game.
Slack, before we jump to you, can I just cut in? Just with Jessiie saying all that about the furnace system, that gave me an idea. So I think obviously XP exists in the game because it creates another form of delaying you from being able to do things. It creates another form of balance. It creates another reason for you to go out and explore the world. But we've decided, or we've discovered, that actually you take XP out of the situation, the game's just as exciting. It's just as fun. It's just as interesting, because then you're not held back by these grindy tasks that you've had enough of because you've played it for so long. So what if they made an end game material that when you put that on your tools and your armor, it just didn't break. There was not Unbreaking 3, Unbreaking X, right? Or Netheritium Adamantium, or and then you don't need to keep repairing stuff. The XP thing still exists for early game and when you want to enchant stuff early on, so you've still got progression, you've still got that holdback. But when you're at end game, you don't want to be dealing with that. So I think that's maybe a solution to this problem. What do you guys think?
No, that'd be no different than being able to craft spawners. No, I totally disagree on that. No. Play bother for that. We're having arguments about vanilla core functions of the game. Okay, you can do a lot of that with behavior pack if you wanted to. I'm just saying, you know it, no, but no.
Well, I know, but I want it to be in vanilla.
Yeah, well, then you're at the mercy of the developers and the complaints that your community can make. But speaking of the storable XP system, it could be a lot simpler than we think, to be honest with you. We already got bottles of enchanting in the game. We got bottles in the game. Why not make an enchantment that goes on either your chest plate or something like that, called save XP? That's just for lack of a better term. And it could be level 1 through 5. And if you're holding a bottle in your hand and you're collecting XP, guess what?
It goes in the bottle. Oh, yeah.
It would go in the bottle instead.
Ooh. So you can fill up bottles of XP.
And literally it'd be no different than soul speed. Yeah, exactly. It'd be no different than walking on soul sand without soul speed enchantment. When you have the enchantment, you don't want to pick up the XP. You want to use the bottles for something else. Guess what? Put on a piece of armor. It doesn't have that enchantment.
But they don't hold enough, those bottles. You need about 1 million of them to repair anything. So you need a bucket. It
would be a system, though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Or maybe with the different levels, you could determine it different. Okay. So say it's got 3 levels. Okay. 1, I don't know what it would be. So I can't think of 3 levels here. Okay. So you may have to help me here. Okay. So 1, you'd have a bottle. 2, you'd have a bucket. If you hold buckets, it saves bucket. Cauldron, and then cauldron of XP.
Yeah.
Why not?
There you go. Nice. Yeah. I'm sold. I'm ready.
See, big brain, right? That is very smart. That immediately makes me think, why don't they just make an item? Instead of an enchantment, why don't you just give us a new type of bottle that has a max, right? You can only have 20 levels of XP or whatever. And then you just have to make those. Make it not an easy recipe, throw some gas tiers or whatever, right? That I would like.
Yeah. And then adamantium. Yeah.
Yes, adamantium. We need it in game. Foxy said
or
it. Done.
We're talking about enchantment levels 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so you got regular bottles of enchanting. You got super bottles of enchanting, and then you got grand bottles of enchanting.
Legendary bottles of enchanting.
There you go. Based on the level of enchantment you have.
We need a mega in there.
Amazing.
You need a mega just so you can put that in your YouTube titles.
Expert level 99 enchantment bottle.
Yep. Yeah. Done.
Love it.
Nailed it.
Love it.
Okay. Let's speed through these last 4 very short pieces of feedback. The first one from the Real Deal Pick on my Discord saying, I suspect being unable to import worlds into the preview app has something to do with the file permissions. Since the beta is no longer in the same app, the preview is not allowed to touch the save files from the main app. Yeah, maybe if it was from directly, I was actually thinking about what could cause this problem. And I think they might be referring to, how you've got an MC world file, or an MC pack file for a resource pack. When you will try and open that, it will open in Minecraft, which obviously means it's not going to open in the preview. So I'm thinking maybe that's what they're talking about, but then that's not really, doesn't really cover what they said in terms of they're not compatible. So I don't know. We'll have to see. We should have the preview on Windows 10 and 11 very, very soon by the sounds of things. So we'll know more then, but you might well be right there, Pickles.
Dragoon says, on the mob farm and Skulk, Mumbo used the Bedrock beta for his farm. He used piston feeding stone from a stone generator. We don't want Skulk to break from pistons. We want to move them out of the way to make big lumps of XP storage. If that's the official way to store XP.
Yeah, after reading that piece of feedback, I actually went and watched Mumbo's video on how he did that. And I have to say, it was a really interesting way of storing XP. And it was a really interesting looking farm. But it does look like this is a very limited and simple, well, not simple, it was complicated, but you know what I mean. There wasn't much thought going into how you were, there wasn't much opportunity to get clever with it, or, you know, to get used to do anything different really. And it was great that he could store so much XP just from this. But again, it was just waiting for mobs to fall down a hole and die. That, you know, what? Just chuck him in a trident killer on Bedrock. Why we don't need it. But yeah, it was interesting. But then that relied on mob farm, laggy, stone generator, laggy, massive walls of like 12 by 12. That's 144 pistons. 3 walls of those, laggy. So, and then the side pushing pistons as well. So you're talking huge amounts of redstone there just to gather XP compared to one furnace. So, yeah.
And then on top of that, one minor last thing I got to say. He's a Java player. He doesn't play Bedrock on a daily basis. He doesn't know what kind of lag that would create.
I think it was just a technical demo, what you could do, which is fine. But yeah, I don't think it's realistic for certainly not servers, things like that. Although we'll all have one soon. So there we go.
Anyways, the real deal picks is for a podcast idea. Each co-host is for 4 to 5 episodes. Then you get a new one for each episode. Make an excuse as why the last one can't make it. Wow, that was an excuse. Oh God!
So I now need to have disposable co-hosts. Just like, wow, FoxyNoTail, you're so friendly. Yeah, you're done. Next, Mr. Beardstone. Oh, I really want to be you on podcast for a bit. Yeah. 5 episodes. You're done. Right, Miss Beardstone's ill. Who's next? Wow, Pickle.
Wow,
harsh. I mean, it would keep it fresh, I guess, but.
Sorry you're in the hospital, but just move along. Someone else will come in. Wow.
I think he meant it in a joking way, Slack.
I know. I'm having fun at it.
And then, I suppose it's you, Jessiie, but I was going to say this one we've kind of already read, but it's from Roth, so I thought we'd include it.
Is it my turn? It's your turn.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're after
I'll do it then. Jeez. Okay. Trying to give you an opportunity there, Jessiie, but no, you're fine. Have you done 5 episodes now? Is that the time? Mumbo's Skullcakes P Farm was on Bedrock Edition. Thanks, Ruff. Thank you very much. Right, that is enough of feedback for today. If you would like to leave us feedback, then please do by emailing the theminecraftupdatepod@gmail.com. And if that doesn't work for whatever reason, then make sure to leave it in either mine, Slack, or Jessie's Discord now, or, drop a comment below this if you're watching this on YouTube. Okay, so going into the news, there is quite a bit of news, but I don't think there's all that much to discuss. And I'm going to start by saying that Minecraft 1.18.10.04 for Bedrock Edition has officially released. And we went over the full changelog for that last week. For some weird reason on the BDS and on if you've got a hosted server, it's listed as Minecraft 1.18.11.01. I have no idea why. I'm assuming there were maybe some changes. Maybe there were some server issues and they've just given it a new version number so that there isn't issues with other versions or patches or whatever. Don't know. That's caused a bit of a headache, I guess, for people, but it seems to work okay. And apart from seeing a couple of people on Twitter saying that the Xbox version was crashing on loading, which seemed a little bit worrying because if you reinstall on Xbox, you lose all of your worlds and everything. I think so far, touch wood, seems to be relatively smooth. Although, again, I've heard reports today from Liara in our Discord talking about block lag being back. Have you guys heard anything so far?
I have had quite a few people in my Discord talking about block lag being back too. So that is something that I've now had people telling me, especially when you're getting like sand and you're quick mining. So it's the bouncy back like it used to be. That's what I've heard. I haven't had anyone tell me they haven't had it, but I haven't got on to play, so I haven't seen it yet.
I think from what Liara said, it did seem like it's not related to Unbreaking 3 this time. So it seems like it's something else. But, this is very early days. Don't forget, we're recording this on the Wednesday. It only came out yesterday evening. I haven't updated any of my servers to it yet. So I've no idea. We'll keep our eyes out over the next few days, I guess. I think for Truly Bedrock, we're probably going to be updating towards the end of the week unless anything really horrendous comes out, I guess. There's not really anything notable to talk about other than just saying, the Furnace XP system has gone away, but somebody has already discovered a new way to duplicate XP with the Furnace. It doesn't seem quite as reliable as the old way, or certainly not quite as easy to do as the old way, and it does seem a lot more cheaty than the old way. But, as usual, when Mojang fix Furnaces on Bedrock Edition, they add a whole new bug to it. I don't think we've ever had a fix on Furnaces that haven't had a bug thrown in, have we, Slack?
Come on. This new one, too. Come on, that feels so intentional.
Do you think so? How can that be intentional? Click in your hotbar?
You have to click only one spot, and you have to be holding something specifically.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen the video. We probably shouldn't talk about how to do it on the podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a very weird way of getting infinite XP out of your Furnace. I'm sure you've all got Google. I'm sure you've all got YouTube. You can probably figure it out pretty quickly because there's videos already out there. Yeah, and I don't know. We've had such a bad time with Furnaces on Bedrock. When they first announced that we were going to be able to get mending properly from our Furnaces and it was going to store XP, do you remember they completely broke smokers? And what was the other one? The fast ore ones, what are they called?
Blast
furnaces. Yeah, they didn't store any XP. So then they fixed that, and then that just stopped the furnaces storing XP properly. And then they fixed mending so that it would only mend as much as it needed to mend and then give you the rest of the XP. And then the furnaces seemed to kind of work, but then we got this furnace glitch, and now they've changed that and we got a new one. So there doesn't seem to be much hope with getting these furnaces right at this particular moment in time. But let's hope they put a new fix into the next beta, which the latest version of that is beta 1.18.20.25, which released, I think, today as we're recording this. Notable changes in that is that frog lights are now rotatable, which is good because they looked awful when you would just place them all over the place and they had random rotation. There is now more stuff about the goat horn as well, which is very much pricking my ears up. When the goat horn breaks off the goat, it makes a sound. They are backtracking on coral fans, as we mentioned earlier, being a pathfinding block for mobs, as per our complaints. And apparently there are some hunger depletion changes for parity that now match Java. So when you are sprinting and swimming, you will properly lose hunger. You will lose significantly less hunger when jumping, and they've made it so you can tweak these values with a behavior pack as well. So that's quite interesting. The other notable thing I noticed on there was not really a big change, but they've put in vanilla parity. Villagers, specifically clerics, offer glowstone instead of glowstone dust. But I could have sworn that was already a thing. Haven't we discussed that recently?
No.
We
that's not a thing.
Discussed last week that it was coming, but it wasn't changed yet.
No, but it was in the changelog for the last beta, wasn't it? That we got last week, because we read it out on the show.
No, I think we were talking about that's what was coming up.
But how would we know if it hadn't been in the beta yet?
I don't know. Just what that's what we were talking about. Oh,
I'm convinced if one of you could take a second to just look at the 1.18.20.23 and 1.18.20.24 changelogs, I bet you that's in there as well, because we've definitely read that already. Anyway, there
is no .24.
Really? Oh, it must be like 21 and 23 then. Basically, we got 2 last week, and I'm sure it was in one of those. So moving on from that, there has been a new Java Edition snapshot. It is 22W06A, which just has a few minor fixes and technical changes in there. Still no wild update snapshots for them because they're still working towards 1.18.2, which I would imagine has got to be dropping pretty soon, considering how sort of lacking these updates are in terms of changes and fixes.
Yeah, you would think.
Good news, Slack.
What's that?
Minecraft Now is back. Oh, Jessiie, are you interested in Minecraft Now at all?
Not even a little bit.
Oh, well, okay. Well, Minecraft Now is back. They're finally doing a new one. It is going to be on February the 10th, which is tomorrow as we're recording this, or yesterday as you may be listening to this if you're listening to it on the day it comes out. It's going to be hosted by Lydia again, and she's going to be joined by Agnes and Alexander, and for a heated debate about alphabetical order, which I found weird because the article basically tells you what's going to happen. I don't understand how it can do that if it's a live stream. It must be pre-recorded. I know it goes out as a live stream, but they answered questions in the first Minecraft Now as if they were being asked while they were live. And it kind of, I don't know, if you read the article, I haven't put the link on the document, I should have done that. But yeah, the article basically tells you all about what's going to happen. It's going to have frogs in it, and they're going to talk about this, and going to talk about that. Maybe it's just really, really detailed planned notes, but how do they know that there's going to be a heated debate about alphabetical order?
Sounds like kind of some lip syncing stuff going on. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to pre-record these things because then you can edit them nicely. It makes them, flow better. You can cut out anything you don't want to go in case somebody happens to mention something they're not allowed to mention. I get that. But then just release it as a video, don't try and tell everybody it's a live stream.
Plant people in the stream to ask questions at the appropriate time. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Jessiie.
I was going to say, I think most of that comes down to it being more staged than pre-recorded. Like they know Agnes and Alexander are going to come on the show, so they have topics and points that they're already going to talk about. They've planned it out, but it's not like pre-recorded so much as just very, very staged.
Maybe it's just the wording in it. It's the wording just makes me think it's either scripted or pre-recorded. But I'm probably wrong. There's no facts there. That's just my pure speculation. The way I read that, the more I read of that article or this news post, the more I just thought, is this already been recorded? It was so weird. Anyway, moving on from that speculation to speculation on the latest betas. The preview is now available on Xbox. This is the new Minecraft preview, which is replacing the beta. It was on iOS. It's now on Xbox. It's still not on Windows 10 or 11 yet, but one of the developers did say it'll be out on that within a couple of weeks. No word at all yet for Android. And another 500 slots were added to the iOS one. So more people can get on. It's still a very small number of people, but they are seemingly opening it up to more and more people. So that's good news. And have you got any thoughts on this, Slack? Obviously, this is we've not discussed this with you yet.
No, not particularly. Minor update though. 1.18.20.21 fixed an error where journeyman clerics would offer glowstone dust instead of glowstone blocks. Just saying.
Told you. Told you. Told you.
I stand corrected.
I know my changelogs, Jessiie B.
Fair enough.
So, do you know anything about the Minecraft preview, Slack?
Yeah, that it's replacing the betas. It's working as its own independent program. It started off on iOS. Now, of course, it's moved to the Xbox. So, I think.
Do you think it's something you get involved with?
If it eventually adds in support from what I've heard from people. Okay, so I've been out of the loop, and I got my people too. Apparently, from what I've heard, is eventually it will potentially even get its own realm support and its own server support. Which, in that case, then yeah, it could be interesting.
Yeah, I hope so.
If it gets multiplayer support, it would be something I would be interested in. If not, I don't have time to play a single player world other than just going in and testing stuff in creative, and that's really not giving you a full run of what could go wrong with it.
No, you're right there. I just think from a point of, I don't know, getting more bugs fixed, I think this is going to be good for the public to have more access to it. I just hope that they really do rather than just going, oh, yes, we've got early access to all these features, there is more stuff going on with the Jira. And hopefully the Jira maybe, gets a little bit of love as well. So it makes things easier for the devs to actually fix things, because we know that stuff can be on there for, 10 years and have never had a fix. Yeah. So, I'm hoping that the entire system is just going to really push Bedrock Edition forward in leaps and bounds. And I think it will. I really do.
It's a much needed change that we need. I mean, you would have been happy with that a few, years ago, and you wouldn't have all your accounts locked into, a beta program that's going to be phased out and not be in existence anymore. And your account will never be able to play Minecraft correctly without a launcher. Just saying.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice if I could actually download. Do you know, it's so ridiculous. A little anecdote here. I took apart the server box that TB was running on to clean it out. I cleaned out all of the sort of components. I took the whole PC to bits, cleaned the motherboard, put new thermal paste on the CPU. I even took the graphics card to bits and put new thermal paste on that, rebuilt the entire thing. Do you know that machine? It's not, I was saying it's like 7 or 8 years old. It's 12 years old, that machine. It still runs absolutely amazing. It's still running my second account with OBS in full 1080p 60, no problems at all. I installed Minecraft on it. I haven't logged into it other than through the Microsoft Store. And it's the beta, so having to use my version switcher on that as well, which is mildly frustrating. But there we go. It is what it is.
So you are locked in on that version switcher.
I am locked in.
You have to keep updating it. You have to keep updating it.
So, Jessiie, have you got any thoughts on the preview being updated or added to Xbox?
I think it's really. I like that they've added more slots, and I like that they're incorporating more. So I'm excited for the beta to be everywhere.
Do you think it's something you'll get involved with once it comes out for Windows?
If I get a slot, I might try, right? If I got one, yeah, I think I would, just because I think it's more interesting and I'm curious. I'm a curious type of person. So if I could get in, it would be nice to kind of play around and see, I don't know, how different it is, because I would not go on what we have currently. No. Because I have so many horror stories. I mean, yours is an example enough, but also I have friends, IRL who got stuck. So I'm like, nope, I'm good. I'm just going to stay back here. So if it's on a completely different system, I'm interested.
A little bit of an update on the slots, actually, for you there, Jessiie. The slots, I believe, are only if you wanted to do it on iOS. And something I wanted to cover last week, and I completely forgot, is that they also said there was talk between developers and the public in Twitter that once you've got a slot, you're not guaranteed to keep that if you don't keep playing it. Basically, you stop playing that preview for however long, then your slot will be taken off you again. It'll be, put back out there to be given to someone else. But those slots, I think that's only iOS. So I think when it comes to Windows, and even now on Xbox, although you will need to be on the Insider program, which as far as I'm aware now doesn't mess with any of your other software unless you go in there and specifically tell it to, you should just be able to, everyone should be able to go on it. So that would be open to everybody then.
Ooh, see, yeah, then I would be more interested.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'll definitely be using it. I think it'll be a handy tool. I don't know if I'll be making any videos from it or anything like that, but it'd be nice to at least understand it more. And like Slack said, hopefully multiplayer will come to it in the future, maybe even servers and things, and we could do something with that. I think that'd be great. The last piece of news we've got is a bit of a tease. Corey, or KojoMax99, tweeted average trapdoor picture with an image of what were looking like normal trapdoors. There were 2 layers of trapdoors, and you could see through the holes in the first trapdoors, and people were going crazy because they spotted what looked like about 3 pixels of a very red-looking texture that people are assuming is obviously the mangrove texture. When we saw the mangrove texture for things on the Minecraft Live, it was pretty much the same color as acacia wood in terms of the planks and the trapdoors. but this one's a much more sort of burnt orangey red by the looks of things, although it's almost impossible to tell because there's like literally only 3 pixels. But it's getting people excited. What do you guys think?
Yes. I cannot wait for new wood types, new, trapdoors, new all that stuff. So I'm excited, but we're going to go back to my my catchphrase at this point. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm really hoping that we get a really different color, because what they showed us in the preview before, it was the exact same thing. And I could care less. I was like, oh, yay.
Yeah, sorry, it wasn't acacia though, was it? It was jungle that it looked like, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was jungle wood. It was like that pinky color. So just the idea that there is a new one, even if it is 3 pixels, I'm on board. I'm here for it. I am putting all the good vibes into the universe that I get something that is different.
Well, even a rusty red looking wood, do you think you can fit that into your builds?
Oh man, you could do so much with like steampunky vibes. You could do a lot. It would just be a different style that I'm not used to. It would just be cool.
Yeah. Slack, you've got a big grin on your face. What are you thinking?
No, I was listening to you all and it just makes me smile. Until it's active in a beta or in the live game, I don't concern myself over it, because all I can think of is super duper graphics. Just saying. I quit a long time ago.
Yeah, but that never even got a preview. I mean, I guess it did. It did get a preview. It got a video. So yeah, we're in the same boat as that, I guess. I can't see them not bringing the new wood type to the game. I can't see that.
Everybody, the azalea is going to be its own different new wood type. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they've specifically said this one will.
The thing with the azaleas.
You remember.
They never told us we were getting new wood, and it very clearly from the off looked like oak wood. So that, I think, is just people pushing, like projecting their wants and wishes into the universe, and had nothing to do with the devs. Like everyone saw that picture. Glowing. Oh my gosh. Done.
Yeah.
It'll glow. It'll light up the caves. No, it won't. It's an entity. It can. It will.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, mate. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
Right. Okay. Right. That is probably just about enough of the news. We've got the Bugdate section coming up. No one's written anything in there apart from me. Jessiie, has anything been bugging you this week?
No, I took the week off, remember?
Wow. You couldn't even make one up. Jeez. Slag.
I mean, COVID bugged me, but other than that.
Okay. Down to me then. Okay. My bug this week that's been very much irritating me is spawners, which I think we know pretty much has hopefully been fixed in the latest update, which we haven't updated to yet. So this could be old news. It might not be. We haven't checked, but I went on a big hunt around in one of my upcoming videos looking for spawners, and it turned out there was a spider spawner pretty much directly under my base. So I found it, went to it, started building or digging out the area, and I wandered away. And then when I came back, the spawner was empty. It was just an empty cage, and my heart sank, and I'm thinking, oh no, what? Oh, geez. So I was thinking, do I tell the other members? Do I just break it? Do I put it in the video? And I thought, no, you know what? I'm just going to just go and do something else for it, and I'll come back. And I came back, and then the spider was spinning in it again. I'm like, oh, okay, it's the cave spider. Okay, that's weird. Right, well, it hasn't disappeared again for a while. So I went on a live stream, built the spider spawner, and we had a few issues because I used magma block walls, and obviously they emit light. So we figured out that was a problem. But even once I changed those, it would spawn for a couple of minutes and then just stop, just nothing spawning. So I went AFK at it for about half an hour last night and after my live stream, and got absolutely nothing. And then I had one of my AFK accounts at it today. I logged both of them out, logged them in, made sure it was spawning, turned the Trident Killer on, sat them there with a looting 3 sword for 2 hours. When I got back, nothing had spawned. There was nothing in the chest other than the few bits I'd already got. And the spawner wasn't spawning. The Trident Killer had stopped, and there was about 10 spiders just in there chilling out, doing nothing in the bottom of this Trident Killer. and then they all just managed to glitch through the blocks and come and attack me. So that was fun. But yeah, it's really concerning that they just it like runs when you log out and log in briefly and then just stops. Why does it stop?
There's a bug.
Not even going out the area.
There's a bug.
I know there's a bug. This is why it's in the Bugdate. I'm just saying this is a particular one that's irritating me.
I could catch you AFK at it right now and kill your spawner just by going in the nether. Good talk.
Yeah. I've heard that's the thing when people go through portals. There was only me and Zloy on earlier, so maybe Zloy was going in and out of the nether. I certainly wasn't, but yeah, it's really frustrating.
I experienced that, I think, in the beginning of my last episode, the one that I hadn't seen, because I needed bones, and I kept trying to set up the skeleton spawner, and there'd only be like me and 2 or 3 other people on, but as soon as somebody went in the nether, every time it killed it, and it doesn't fix it until the server restarts.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Oh, see, that's awful.
Mine and your double spawner farm, I didn't think we had this problem, Jessie. Those chests filled in no time, didn't they?
Yeah. So we have had the problem, but I don't know if it's because ours was only running when there was really no one on, because I only ran it when there was no one on. So I know I wasn't going in and out of the nether. So personally, it just was never a problem. But I have had that problem since with our spawners, is I will be AFK there. If anyone is on, they're dead. They're just dead in the water. It does not matter. I have to specifically wait until people are gone for it to work at all.
That's so weird. Well, I really do hope that when we update to 1.18.10 that this is fixed, because it is incredibly frustrating. And, you know, if anyone's decided they're going to be using the spawner farm for XP, although I think that's the most crazy idea I've ever heard, unless you've got like 6 or 7 spawners, then although we used to, on Truly Bedrock Season 1, our spider spawner we were using for XP, weren't we?
Yeah, we had a quad.
Until we built the garden farm. I think we used it twice.
Yeah, we had a quad. We had 3 spiders and 1 skeleton. Yeah. It was so much fun building that farm.
It was. I enjoyed that farm. That was very much good fun. Yeah, I love those water streams. I still think about them in my nightmare, my dreams.
Yeah.
Now,
I still think about the songs that we can never release that we sang in that episode.
Look, yeah, moving on. So unless nobody else has got anything to say about the Bugdate, we shall move on to our last section, which is the Q&A. And we have got, well, we got a few now that Slack's community has jumped in at the last minute. So I guess I'll start at the top and we'll alternate going down the list, guys.
Sounds good.
Rusty Shackleford, otherwise known as Mr. OLED2V, says, once the novelty of the Warden wears off, people will go for the treasure and find some way to cheese the Warden. Basically, he's large like a golem and unable to fit through 1 or maybe 2 block wide gaps. So you'd either dig a hole and just hit his feet, or dig into a wall and bash his kneecaps. I feel like the Deep Dark will be a place people speed raid like Ocean Monuments, and the Warden will have to be dealt with. I think it'd be nice for the Warden to drop something useful or valuable or high XP, otherwise he's just an annoyance, in my honest opinion. What do you think about this idea in the long run once the novelty wears off? Also, how many paragraphs is too many? It's not just me with lots to say and being cut short sometimes. If you give me a reasonable limit, I'll make sure to point quicker or maybe trim what I say. I'm off to build a beef arm. Speaking of which, I maybe it must have been on a different video. We got a piece of feedback saying, is this feedback long enough? And then it just stopped or too long or something like that. And that made me laugh anyway. But yeah, Rusty's question there, what do we think about the novelty wearing off for the Warden? Does anyone mind if I jump in on this one?
Go for it.
Go for it.
Okay, so speaking of other podcasts, the Spawn Chunks podcast a long time ago now had King B Dogs on as a guest, who was asked these questions by Pixel Riffs and Joel, basically saying, what, you know, people are just going to do what they do with iron golems and tower up and try and hit it, or go in a hole and try and hit it. And he's like, no, we've thought of that. We've got ways around it. Don't worry, it's going to be a different experience. So that, I think we're just going to have to assume that they know what they're doing, and we're going to have to wait and see on that one. My thoughts potentially is that if it's going to bury into the ground when it's like goes to sleep and bury out of the ground when it wakes up, is it going to be able to break blocks a little bit like the Wither can break blocks? If you try and, stand on a tower or in a hole, is it going to break the blocks to get to you? We don't know that, but that's a possibility. And in terms of it dropping something, well, of course it will, Rusty Shackleford. It'll be dropping a mob head when I update the pack for 1.19. That'll be a reason to go kill it. What do you guys think?
Cheeky plug, if there ever was one. I love you. God, go for it, Jessiie.
I think that's everything in Minecraft. Honestly, that's literally everything in Minecraft. There's always going to be that moment where the novelty wears off. You can't build something so that it's fun 100% of the time for all of eternity. That's why games evolve. That's why things get updated. That's why things continue. And I don't think that's a problem. I think there's this weird want for something to just be the newest, the greatest, the best, but forever. And it's just not plausible. So I'm excited for what's coming. I'm excited that this is going to be something new that we haven't done. And sure, it might be a one-off, but that's going to be an experience that hopefully I'm going to record and have on there forever. And I'm okay with that. And I think you just have to be okay with that sometimes, personally.
Agreed. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, as far as the Warden goes, once again, I'm of the mindset until it's in the betas or it's something I can actually see in game, I really don't have an opinion. Super duper graphics.
Wow. You do realize you're on the Minecraft Update podcast talking about upcoming features. You got to have something for us. Like, just pretend it's definitely coming and tell us what you think about it. Yeah.
It's not going to have the fear factor of the Wither. I just don't believe it. I just don't. And okay, so you're talking, they're making plans for a player not being able to put it in one high gap or whatever and bash its knees. It's going to go into the ground and it's going to come at you. Okay, well, Minecraft doesn't have a physics engine per se. If I take 4 pieces of stone and I pillar up and then I break the 3 underneath of that, guess what? I can stand on that one and bash its head unless it's suddenly going to get a ranged attack.
Ooh, that's a good point. Yeah, I'm sure the players will find some way of doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure there'll be some way to farm it. But what's it going to, aside from the loot of what the shock sensor or whatever, however you say it, what's it going to benefit me? I mean, the Wither, I don't like to do the Wither, but the Wither benefits me from, getting the beacon, the dragon. I don't care. I don't get nothing out of that. If the dragon dropped the egg every time, maybe. If the dragon dropped the elytra, maybe. I have no desire to keep going back and doing that,
Okay.
I need it to be really appealing is what I need.
I think it will be. I think it absolutely will be. The guy that's come up with this idea is the guy that invented the Aether mod for Minecraft, which had just crazy stuff in it. He knows what he's doing. That's one of the most popular mods to have ever existed on Java Edition. He's been saying, don't worry, it's going to be worth it. Don't worry, it's going to be worth it. Maybe is bitten off more than he can chew. Maybe his excitement for it is one of those things where he's got us all so hyped up we'll be disappointed with the outcome. But I don't think so. I think for whatever reason, it's going to be worth it. Otherwise, why bother putting all this time and effort into putting it into the game?
I agree. The biggest thing that I'm concerned about, anytime you add something new into the game, it's like modding the game. It's finding balance.
Yeah.
Don't make it so hard that it's broken and don't make it so easy I can cheese it.
Agreed.
But that's on the developers.
Yeah.
It's like, it's literally like we've talked about this before, adding in a new tool set. Adamantium. Where's the balance? Where's the reward? Where's the risk reward? Where's the good? Where's the bad? Suddenly I have a tool that never breaks. Then why do I ever need an XP farm? Why do I need to build a guardian farm? Why not just rush straight to diamond, straight to netherite, straight to the end and not ever have to repair my pick one time?
Well, look, there's different ways of playing this game.
That's the beauty of the game. There's no right or wrong way to play it. Just how we want to play it and how we feel comfortable playing it. So I am excited. I just hope it brings proper balance and has risk reward to it. And honestly, I've been out of the loop for the last 3 weeks, so I have no idea of any changes that have happened since we last talked about it.
Yeah, well, not really much with that, to be honest with you. There's not really been a great deal going on about the warden at all. At one point, there was a tweet saying the warden can smell farts, which I think was just a joke. I don't think there's anything to read into that one at all. There's been a lot of stuff about the skulk growth and how much that will spread. This is particularly on Java Edition. When the mobs die and how much it will spread through caves and things, but there really hasn't been a great deal about the warden and stuff like that. I think when we get the first snapshots of the wild update on Java Edition is when we'll really start seeing more information about the Deep Dark and what the warden is guarding, or warding, should I say. It's. I think it's going to be really interesting. And even if it's not that exciting, it's something new. It's something different. It's something to play with. Even if it doesn't give you a nether star and gives you the ability to have a new beacon or something like that. If it just for the entertainment value of trying to go down there and not die, I just
okay. Well, on a creator and a fan side point of view, or I don't know what point of view you would look at it from, one of the most things I'm excited about the warden, you know what that is? It's the fact that the Java developers are doing parody as they're making it. They're learning C++ and trying to incorporate the same thing into both versions at once.
I think that's a big deal.
That's what I find the most exciting. Because if they can learn that and do that, maybe they'll do that with all future updates.
I hope so. I really hope so. It'll be amazing. I still think our skulk sensor is going to be missing a lot of the functionality of the Java one, just because those triggers don't exist in Bedrock, but we'll see. That's been very quiet as well. But do you remember when they first came out? And the Java list of things that would trigger a skulk sensor on Java was about 20 pages long, and on Bedrock there was about 5 things.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. We will see. Jessiie, any thoughts?
Just that the same thing I've been saying basically is just I'm not putting too much into it right now. I'm loving everything they're giving us, and I'm not trying to speculate too much. Beside me speculating that I do agree with you that it's tied into the end somehow. I just, there's no point. There's no point in speculating. They're doing such a good job at keeping the hype up and giving us just enough to be interested that I'm just going to enjoy it. So when we get it, I'm stoked, gonna go into it with the utmost hope and just enjoy it when it's here.
Good. Right. Jessiie, Blue Shigatsu, otherwise known as Khaleesi.
Well, Blue says, I love how half of the Minecraft update was Foxy ranting about Pokemon. Loved the episode. I hope Slack is doing well. Jenny or Jessiie, it's been wonderful having you be a part of the podcast. And Foxy, you're doing wonderful as well. The podcast brings a smile to my face, plus some giggles every week. What build style would be out of your comfort zone, and would you ever try building in that style? Well, for me, the style that, well, one, super glad that you're enjoying it. It's been a blast, and I'm glad that it makes you giggle and smile. But the style that is super out of my comfort zone is modern. I have never been comfortable building modern. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just like modern to me feels kind of minimalist, and I am all about details. So it just makes me super, super uncomfortable. Would I ever build in that style? I probably not. If I'm being real honest, like if I had like a challenge or something and someone was like, okay, we're building this specific area in TB to be modern, sure, I might go build one thing and be okay. Would I make a base modern? No. Just gonna be real honest and say no.
Fair enough.
Super clean, modern. Yeah, stuff like that. No, that's way outside my comfort zone. I like random and I like chaotic, and yep. That's for me. And also, I want to say thank you all for the concerns. There's been a lot of people, and I know I haven't said nothing to none of the others, but the amount of well wishes and everything. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much for a lovely piece of feedback there. In terms of the build style that I am most scared of is probably anything natural, anything custom trees, anything organic, I can't do it. So both Jessiie and Slack, they're saying they don't like modern. Modern for me is like, yeah, I could do that. I would fall asleep with modern, not a problem. If it's got straight lines, straight edges, and it's, it's repeating patterns, I'm all over it. As soon as you're asking me to do anything that is not that, then I panic. So that's one of the reasons why I've this season of Truly Bedrock, I'm really pushing myself into trying to get somewhere like that. I still won't do custom trees, but I'm at least trying to landscape more rather than just flattening out a big area and building houses on it. I'm like, no, I'm shaping the terrain. I'm putting hedges in, I'm putting bushes, I'm putting fields, I'm putting ponds, I'm putting lakes. I'm trying to make it more natural and organic, but I find it so difficult, and I find myself wanting to do anything else but that. But I am enjoying it. I'm really enjoying pushing myself to it. But yeah, that's my response on that one. Slack, what's Ranger's Edge got to say?
Well, Ranger's Edge has got 3 questions. Do we want to do all 3 at once and go around the table, or do we want to do one at a time?
Should we do a quick fire one at a time one?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do a quick fire one at a time. And I'll start with the first one. Best source of XP now that the furnace is gone, I'm going to say a Guardian farm.
Yeah, I agree. Jessiie?
Yeah, Guardian farm.
Did the update fix the spawner portal bug? I honestly don't know. Haven't tested yet.
I hope so.
Yeah, I haven't been on the update.
And this one opens up a lot of doors.
Okay.
What's the best or worst part of streaming? I'll let you start with that one.
Jessiie, you go first.
Best part of streaming is getting live reactions, getting live feedback when I'm landscaping, when I'm doing anything, just being able to get somebody's opinion right then, right there, whether it's on what I'm building, whether it's on, current events. It's just really nice having instant conversations with people. Worst thing about streaming is the anxiety for me. Like I get really nervous when I have people watching me and I feel like I might mess up. And for me, that could be building, because I am very, very detail oriented. I am very much a perfectionist. And when I build, I want it to be perfect. So building live on camera, oh, nope. It just gets me right in the gut. I don't like it.
Okay. For me, streaming is on the majority, it's like going to the pub to see my friends. The feedback is great, like Jessiie said, but it's really, for me, it's being able to talk to people, have a conversation, enjoy banter about Minecraft and what we're doing, have a bit of a laugh and a giggle, and try to entertain people. I get a bit of a kick out of trying to entertain people. I do my best to do it. So the best thing about streaming for me is being able to do that. The worst part of streaming for me is that it's like going to the pub, and I don't want to do it. I want to sit at home and I want to put my feet up and watch the TV. I don't want to go and entertain a load of people and talk to my friends. And I don't mean that in a nasty way, but it's streaming always seems to be at the most inconvenient time, even though you set it on your schedule to be the most convenient time. So, like, I'll be building something like I was today, and I'll be on a building. I'm starting to work on my Guardian farm, and I'm doing some really grinded stuff, but it's early in the morning. And I think this would be great to do on a stream. It'd be so easy to do on a stream. But if I stream now, it's going to throw me off for what I'm doing later. So I need to know I'm going to stream tomorrow at my normal stream time, tomorrow at my normal stream. So I've got nothing to do. So I'm making stuff up for the stream, which just ends up, not really helping me out too much. If I just had not the ability, because anyone can stream at any time, but if I had if I dared to just go live when it suited me, then I'm sure it would be it wouldn't be like going to the pub with your friends anymore, because you're going to have different people there each time because of different time zones and different times of day, and you're just going to catch some people by surprise. I think when you're consistent, you always meet your friends at the pub on a Tuesday night at this time. The same people turn up, and it's that I like. So if I just went live any time of the day whenever it suited me for my video, then I don't think I'm going to get the same that same feel from it. I'll still enjoy it. There'll still be people there. There'll still be people watch. I'll get to meet new people, which is nice. but there's a lot of downsides to just being as and when. For it being consistent is good because people know to turn up at that time. So I think the worst thing for me about streaming is it's never at a time that's convenient.
Best thing about streaming is the real-time interactions. I would agree with that. I think both of y'all nailed that, and I think that's probably one of the best things to get live feedback. I think every one of us are guilty of it. You put out a video and you're waiting for comments.
Yeah.
Okay. You're waiting. And it's like me and Foxy have talked about this in the past, where you put out a video and suddenly you don't get no comments. You're like, what am I doing? What's wrong? What's wrong with this video versus the last one? You know? So the real-time interactions, being able to ask questions, get live feedback is amazing. The worst part about streaming, I'm torn on this one. I was sitting here thinking I was listening to both of y'all talk, and I know the first thing that come to mind about the worst thing of streaming is a dead chat.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If my chat dies, I feel like I'm doing something horribly wrong.
Yes.
Like, and you ask a question and you just look and you get nothing. You're like, am I still streaming?
Yeah.
Am I live?
Crickets.
I got a booger hanging out my nose. Is my eyes crossed? What's going on? You know? You're like, what is going on? You know, is the dog's doing something inappropriate? Is the stream dead? What? You know, and that's one of the worst fears as a streamer, I would say, is just be sitting there chatting and all of a sudden chat die. And you look over and you try to engage chat and you like can't get no engagement. You're just like, you know,
Yeah.
it hurts.
Yeah, definitely.
It hurts.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So, and I think every one of us are the same. Somebody will be like, hey, I'm lurking. Okay. Hey, I appreciate you lurk. And you do. You appreciate that lurk because most of the time they're doing stuff in the background. They're listening to you still and everything like that. But as a streamer, when you ask a question, we thrive for that interaction. We all do. We're all attention seeking, whether we want to admit it or not. We're streamers. We're content creators. You know, we want that attention. And when we go to get that attention and we can't get it, it's like a punch in the gut. You know, it really is. And the other worst thing about streaming is exactly what Foxy was talking about there. It's very hard to plan your episodes around your streams. So you're either goofing off in your stream, doing absolutely nothing and making no productive headway, or you're engaging. And I don't say this in a bad way, but I've noticed this about me. Either my stream is super engaging and I get absolutely nothing done in Minecraft, or it's a struggle to keep chat going and keep being productive.
Absolutely.
Like stream day, I make a joke with some people. Stream day, I can go an hour and a half without even touching Minecraft. Not even touch the game.
Yeah.
I can go live and not touch the game for an hour and a half and keep 150 people there. And I love it. I love it. I thrive off of it. I thrive off of that feeling of when I go live, people start coming in and I can sit there. I know I can. I've done it. I've done it intentionally. I can sit there 45 minutes to an hour and never touch the game and chat move nonstop. And I absolutely love it. It's one of the best things ever. But when that chat doesn't move, I feel like I'm dying inside. So yeah, that would be it for me. That would be it for me. Jeez.
Fair enough. Right.
Good thought.
Sneck says, what is your favorite block palette combination, Jessiie?
Oh. I think it really depends on the style, but if I had to just like go with the gut, I really like blackstone with warped wood with bone blocks and spruce wood. That palette, it's what I did in season 2 with my towers and just like favorite palette that I have ever worked with. For some reason, I just had so much inspiration. So yeah, that's my favorite.
It was a beautiful build. It was absolutely beautiful. You did amazing there.
Thank you.
My block palette, I always joked that I got an expensive block palette. My favorite blocks together would be quartz, lava, red nether brick, and blue ice.
Okay.
Ooh,
I hate favorite questions. Favorite questions are so hard because it really does depend for me. But no, what my answer to this is going to be silly, but also my safety net, which is if you can't build it out of stone brick, then it doesn't deserve to exist. Stone brick or nothing. No, I really like, I love deep slate. That's my favorite block in the game at the minute. Cobbled deep slate. I could put with absolutely anything. I really like andesite and polished andesite. And I really like spruce and dark oak wood. So I would say that some mixture of those is probably my favorite block palette. Not that I have any clue how I would use those sitting here now, but if I'm going to go build something, they're the first things I pick up to take with me.
No, you're a smooth stone junkie.
Smooth stone? I haven't used smooth stone in forever. They're like what farms are made of, smooth stone. They're not for builds.
Yeah, but now that's what you're going to have to use though next. You're going to get this undesirable urge to build with smooth stone again. Foxy.
No, I don't think so.
Just saying. We'll see.
No.
We'll see.
There's better blocks in the game now. It's like we've got cobbled deep slate. It's amazing. Have you seen it? You can do everything with it. I want more of that. Oh, geez. Jessiie, what's Lucas got to ask?
Lucas says, most annoying bug you have encountered. Ooh, for me, hands down, the most annoying bug that I ever came across was when the realms, or were we on realms? When we kept getting rollbacks. That to me, to this day, is the one thing that bane of my existence. When I look back and say, okay, what's one time in Minecraft that I hated? Like with everything in my being, it was when we kept getting rollbacks in season 1. Ugh, done.
Witch hut. No.
Yeah.
Slack, you go.
When they were messing with the furnace XP and they broke kelp farms, I literally half of my witch hut was a kelp farm.
Okay. You want to elaborate on that, or is that enough? Just the thought of that is just taking you back to a bad place, and you'd rather move on.
Oh God! Like the kelp would grow, and then the next update it would quit growing. So you'd have to go in and break it all, and then it would grow again until it reached a certain stage, and then it would break. And
Yeah.
Like I literally did that at the beginning of the season before I built the witch hut, and by the end of the season, it still wasn't fixed.
No, I know. I remember.
We played for a year on that world with broken kelp farms.
Oh, bless you. And do you know what? Speaking of kelp farms and smokers, that's another good XP bank system providing kelp's working. Thinking of, by the way, we're talking about villages and stuff.
The whole point of that farm.
The kelp stop working. The most annoying bug I have encountered, I encounter regularly, and it frustrates the heck out of me to the point where it honestly makes me want to cry and shout and scream a lot of the time. And it's just trying to play Minecraft with my kids. I don't know how Minecraft Bedrock Edition is so awful at being able to play the same game in the same house, but on a bunch of different devices. We thought we got it nailed. We got a brand new Xbox. We got logged in on Jack's account, which is an adult Minecraft account. There's no limits or anything on that. No problems at all. We got Oliver on his iPad that's connected to his Microsoft account. He's hosting the world. He's got everything from the marketplace on there because he got loads of Minecoins for Christmas. It's all going good. I've got 2 PCs, an iMac with Windows running on it. I've got 2 laptops. I've got all the computer systems in the world that I could play Minecraft on, plus an iPad, plus a phone if I really needed to and I was desperate. Yet, I cannot get the 3 of us in a game together, just full stop. In the end, what we ended up doing this weekend, they were both with me this weekend. They both wanted to play Minecraft. I spent an hour trying to get us all in game with each other. This week, the bug was Jack's account kept saying when he tried to log into the game, no, sorry, you need to update your permissions on Microsoft because you've got a child account. And we went through everything. We went through all the troubleshooting. He doesn't have a child account. All the permissions are allowed, but it would not let him do anything. Couldn't join a server, couldn't join his friend's world, couldn't do anything at all. Then we just couldn't connect for whatever reason. And it's just the same story every single time I want to play with them. In the end, I had to set up a server, which obviously we can't connect to on the Xbox because we don't have the Xbox DNS thing set up here because we don't normally play Minecraft on the Xbox. So Jack had to go on my laptop as Chuck, my alt account, and I was on my normal computer. I didn't want to be in my office playing with the kids. I want to be in the front room with them. I've got these mobile devices so we can play together comfortably. So Oliver ends up sitting on the floor for 2 hours in my office on his iPad, stretching his charging wire because it didn't quite reach to where he was sat. Jack sat uncomfortably at the other side of the room, sort of propping up on this iPad, my old laptop, because my current laptop's broken and it's gone to get fixed. And it just was a horrible experience. In the end, we got it working. We played for a couple of hours, but it took us nearly an hour just to get in the same game. It's so bad. So bad. And it's every single time we try and do it. And I even said to them both at one point, I said, I'm really sorry, kids, that this is why I hate playing Minecraft with you both, because we spend so much time upset and stressed out just to try and get in the game. We need to find a game that we can play elsewhere. So that's basically, it's horrible because it's all of our favorite games, but it's not fun. You start, when you finally get in the world, you're just angry and upset and you don't want to play. It's not fun. It's awful.
No, yeah, you spent 2 hours of trying to get it to work, and then to get it to work, you're already frustrated.
Yeah, that's miserable.
So,
it is.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. I don't know what the problem was with that, but it's honestly, it's without exaggerating, every single time Oliver wants to play. And every time he comes to me, he's like, Daddy, can we record a video today? Can we do a video? We don't even have to record it, but we could just play together. And I'm like, I really want to, but it's going to be a nightmare trying to get on. And I have to try and find like 2 or 3 hours to put to side for us to do it, because I know I'm going to spend an hour trying to get us in the same game. It's crazy. So yeah, that's my worst bug, and it's constant.
Minor update here. I just got a message from someone that says the Windows preview is now live in the Microsoft Store.
Nice.
What?
Wow, there we go.
Nice.
So by the next podcast, which I probably won't be on, we'll be able to, or you guys will be able to give some good updates to everyone on how that all works. So you better both get it downloaded and figure it all out while I'm away.
Well, I'm checking now. It's what I'm checking now, just to verify that my source is telling me
Don't
the
click
truth.
anything that will make Microsoft change anything. Your audio will all go out. It'll all break. Yes. You know what Microsoft are like. Jeez.
Oh, you're trying to say they break stuff.
Right. Slack, it's your turn, and it's from Watchful. And it's another favorite question. Oh, goody.
What is your favorite thing to do in Minecraft? Asks Watchful. Base building, farms, gathering, and why? And then the second part to this is there anything you would personally like to see done to the end dimension similar to what has been done with the Nether update in 1.16? I would say for me personally, yes, I would like to see the end update get an update like we did with the Nether. I think that would be perfect. Different end dimension biomes, maybe different endermen and stuff like that could be cool. And as far as what I enjoy doing in the game, building technical farms and planning out all the farms. That's probably my favorite thing to do. What about you, Foxy?
It changes every time I play the game. It really depends on my mood, what I'm into. Like today, I had a really good time trying to invent a new potion brewing system, because you know what I'm like. I don't like to look at tutorials. I like to try and figure it out myself. And sometimes I can just sit and play in my ideas well for ages, coming up with different designs and things like that. Sometimes I just don't want to do anything technical, and I just want to build stuff. Sometimes I want to try and build interesting things. Sometimes I want to try and build like really basic, simple things. So I don't know. And sometimes I just want to go out gathering. Yeah, just go and dig a load of sand. So yeah, but I don't have a favorite thing to do in Minecraft. It completely depends on my mood and how I'm feeling. Jesse?
That's fair.
Oh, I didn't speak about the end. Yeah, I absolutely want an end dimension update akin to the Nether one, if not even better, because the end was, I mean, the Nether already had a few things in it. The end's got nothing. So yeah, I would very, very much like the massive, massive big end update. I want end biomes, more places, more mobs, the lot, the whole thing. I want it to be like a whole new world when I go there, please. Thank you. Jesse?
I'm going to start with the end. I really would love an end overhaul. As most people who know me here know, I love the end. I love going and end raiding. I think it's so much fun, but I would love if there was more there. I keep thinking it's coming. And so, yeah, a complete end overhaul would be wonderful. I'd love it. My favorite thing to do in Minecraft is definitely building, and I have to include that with terraforming, because it's just those two things. I can't pick between them, but I could spend all day, every day, either terraforming or building and be completely happy. Like, I don't have to mess with anything. Like, just flat world, just let me build, let me terraform, and I'd be so happy.
Nice. Sacred Lotus MC says, if you could trade in a mob for anything else, be it another block, etc., what would it be and why? Slack.
Jessiie.
If I could trade in a mob, I'd get rid of phantoms because they're awful. And I would want an XP faucet. There we go. Bringing it all the way around.
Stole mine. That's exactly where I was going with that. Okay.
Cheats.
I would get rid of dolphins and have adamantium.
Get rid of oxalatos and have something, I don't know, else. Give me more bottles of XP options. Yeah, I'm just going to be generic and go with that. Yeah.
Oh, well, speaking of new features and new things, I was thinking the other day, as I do often when I'm driving, and I thought, what's one thing on servers that we all use all the time, but that it doesn't exist, and that is a currency. We all use diamonds to buy and sell things, and I thought, what if Minecraft had like a mint, like a press that you could get? You could put like diamonds or gold or iron in, and you could like press your own coins and make your own in-game currency to use at shops and stuff. I thought that would really be interesting.
That would be cool.
Didn't we try that? Really tokens? I mean,
but something like that had some vanilla twist on it, I think would be really interesting.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Well, isn't that kind of what emeralds are?
Shut up. Right, anyway, moving on. You don't mint them.
Well, you trade for them and you can mine them. For villager trades, yeah, they are pretty much.
Right, fine, okay. Jeez.
It's like the furnace.
All right, well, they don't look like coins. Please, Jessiie, help me out.
Zeta said, what does everyone think of the preview? Will Foxy and Slack do a series with the new preview app?
Well, I think we've already answered that in today's podcast. I'm very sorry to say it doesn't sound like Foxy and Slack will be doing a series in the preview app. It depends. If they actually make it able to do multiplayer in it, then I wouldn't mind doing something in it, even if it's just like the odd live stream here and there, because I think
that could be fun as live streams.
Yeah. I think of the preview. I think it's a brilliant idea, and I really hope it becomes a really powerful tool for Minecraft and push forward and become better. But yeah, I think it's until it gets full playability, it's going to be lacking for a lot of content creators, really.
I really like the idea of us having a secondary server set up for Minecraft preview if it becomes a thing.
It could be really fun to design like some sort of game or something like in it with like new features, just something you could just play around and have fun on.
Well, that uses things that we don't have in survival.
Yeah, that
would be interesting. But then, well, I suppose that's the point. I was going to say all you do is going to come across bugs you weren't aware of, but then that's kind of the point in the beta, the preview, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah.
Point, isn't it?
Hey, let's build this amazing thing. Oh, it don't work because it's full of bugs. Forget it. Did you log them? No, just got bored.
Wow.
Oh, dear me. Right. Unfortunately, that is the end of today's questions. If you want to ask us a question, then please do send an email to theminecraftupdatepod @gmail.com. I said it very, very clearly there, so there's no spelling mistakes in future. Make sure if you're asking a question to put question in your subject line. If it's feedback, put feedback in your subject line. And if you don't want to send us an email, then drop a note on our Discords or in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube. Right, unfortunately, guys, and that is the end of today's podcast. And do you know what? I'm very happy with how that went. I think it was very nice having you both here, so thank you for being here. Before we go, though, we do need to talk about what we're going to be doing in terms of streaming and videos this week. Jessiie, have you got anything going on? I assume not, if you've not been feeling it.
Yeah, we all have stream weekend this weekend. So Saturday, that's going to be wonderful. Yeah. So I will be on stream weekend. I actually think I'm the first one, so that's going to be fun.
Oh, nice.
Other than that, I should have a video Monday, and we'll take it from there.
Amazing. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to be streaming on Saturday, tomorrow as this comes out at 6 p.m. for Stream Weekend, and next week is going to be potentially something on the Friday or the Saturday, depending on what I can wangle, because I'm going to be away. So yeah, watch this space for that. What about you, Slack?
Well, as per this screenshot that I'm posting into our chat that nobody else can see, I'm downloading the Minecraft preview right now. And I am potentially going to be trying to do normal-ish streams over the next week, 4 to 6, of course. Stream weekend this weekend for Truly Bedrock, and video content is kind of up in the air because I completely ran out of content being sick. But we're working on getting things back on task.
Fair enough. Well, I do have videos coming out, by the way, this week, and I have them scheduled for next week as well, so don't miss those. And hopefully you won't miss the next episode of the Minecraft Update, which potentially won't have me in it. We'll have to see how that goes. Hopefully these two will be able to pull it together without me. And hopefully we'll see you all in the next one. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.